Hello folks, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here today. We're going to take another look at Dent Wireless. And we're strictly looking at the technicals. There's no fundamentals here. Just looking at the charts and having a good time, and obviously just making sure we identify a good entry point for you in today's climate. Now, be sure to understand that I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only, and you should always do your own research. And if you're interested in $25 worth in free Bitcoin from Voyager application, links in the description below. Also, be sure to contact me on Telegram or Twitter if you'd like. We have a fantastic community that's growing day by day, and I can't thank you all enough for sticking with me this long. Appreciate y'all. All right, let's go ahead and get right to it. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at Dent Wireless. And before we do, we'll just go ahead and take a quick look at Bitcoin to kind of get perspective on what that's looking like right now, because it did blast through the resistance level of 57,000, which we were all hoping for. This is great news for a lot of us because all of our coins are going to start going up in price. So just to quickly note, the 50-day moving average did bounce off. It was tested 2 more times here, worked as a strong support level, and also the $53,000 support. They worked in tandem essentially to jump the price up, and then on top of that, we have a couple more higher highs here. So the price is hovering around 58,200 right now, which is great because the 200-day moving average was a major resistance level, and it's always worked as a very strong resistance level for Bitcoin. So it's nice to see it traveling above. It's been above for the last almost 8 hours. So a pretty good sign there. It does mean that it's likely going to stay above. We'll see here in the next few moments, but I think that we're in pretty good shape there, possibly in the clear. Ethereum as well, working similarly in a sense. In other words, it didn't dive down as deep as people were expecting probably when Bitcoin sold off, and it ramped up because, in case you don't know this, people that are investing in Bitcoin, when Bitcoin price goes down, people shift over their investment to Ethereum as a secondary, which is why Ethereum usually goes up in price when Bitcoin comes down. So you can see that kind of contradictory evidence here of the fact that this is, oddly enough, that's a double bottom. But furthermore, when Bitcoin had its first sell-off, the second sell-off that was so much lower in price on Bitcoin is actually higher right here. And then, of course, right now we're looking at new all-time high of 2,838. 2838. I didn't expect that to happen. Let's just say that. It's a pretty awesome movement by Ethereum. So that's kind of the baseline there for those two. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Dent. And apologize for all the markings here, but these are from the previous reviews. I'm going to leave some of them there because they are pretty good support and resistance levels that we need to be aware of in case the price comes back down. But I wouldn't foresee that happening because I feel like we're over a very strong support level at this point for Dent. So let's go ahead and take a peek here. So let's go to the 1-day chart first and work our way down. All right. So, looking at this chart here, we can see my previous marking of a very strong original support level of 0.0077, and then a few others along the way. And what's nice is we're over the support level of 1 cent even. So that's going to continue to work as a strong support. We'll just go ahead and extend that out. So we'll probably see that. We might see that tested in the future depending on how this channel works. But that's essentially what we're looking at there. And I believe I had this marked up here for 13 cents because there was a strong, we'll look at a smaller chart to find out, but I'm pretty sure that was originally a resistance level a couple of weeks ago. That could work as a new resistance. I'll leave that alone for now. Also, RSI is in good shape right in the middle, neither oversold or overbought. And we're looking at MACD. Not a lot going on there. It's basically right in the middle. So it's essentially just slightly gaining bullish momentum at this point, as you can see from the last 3 green bars. Just bear in mind too, there's been a decrease in volume as well, so we're likely into a consolidation phase. Furthermore, let's look at the 4-hour chart. And this is a lot of moving parts here. One sec. Before we look at that, quickly note RSI is at 60. Still in good shape, as well as the fact that MACD is kind of, it looks like it is shifting bullishly, but honestly, not really all that important, all that relevant right now because it's right in the middle, and we're probably just going to continue to consolidate for a little while. So just be mindful of that. We'll try to find a good entry point, but I think we're at a point where something will happen soon as most consolidation phases start. So we'll see what happens with the price action in the next few days, but right now it's kind of just working itself into a channel. And looking at the bigger picture here, there's that resistance level at 13.5 cents from before. Glad I left that there. That is likely the newest resistance level, minus the 0.0128. So basically 0.0128. Okay, yeah, so that might be the new most immediate resistance. Let's go ahead and mark that, because that was the recent all-time high. But I have a feeling it's probably just going to blow past that and come right up here and test this if and when it does. Also looking at the moving averages, we've got the 50-day moving average, which is a support level, 100-day moving average support. What's nice is you see all three of these working together, or these two are essentially going to merge with the support level. So it's going to create a super strong support at 1 cent. So I'd be very surprised if the price comes down and blows below the 1 cent line. We'd probably have to see a sell-off in Bitcoin, a major sell-off, to see that happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but again, we never truly know. But just be mindful of that when moving averages are moving on the same plane. Essentially, they're intersecting. That works as a super strong support or resistance level. So the only other potential issue here is the 200-day moving average at approximately 0.012. That could and should be tested in the near future, and if it is and it breaks above, then the next two milestones are essentially 0.0128 and 0.0135. All right, so now onto the 15-minute chart. Let's see if we can identify a good entry point. And something to note too, the RSI increased over 70 recently, so we could expect for the price to possibly retrace itself back down closer to the VWAP. Let's turn off these guys here. MACD really doesn't matter all that much on the 15-minute chart, but it is signaling that the momentum is trailing down and it's going to start a little bit of a bullish move. So what should happen is we should see the price retrace down, possibly test the VWAP and bounce, or continue past it. But it's truly hard to say just yet what's going to happen, because we don't have any major support or resistance lines in this channel. Plus, with a lower amount of volume overall, I'd speculate we're going to see this kind of movement for a little while. So it may not be advantageous to consider an entry point until either A, the price comes down and tests the 1 cent level, or it comes up above and essentially holds right above the 0.0129 level. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. And then looking at the 1 minute chart, probably not going to see a ton of, it's up above VWAP, which it should likely be tested soon if it comes back down. I don't see a lot here that I really like. I feel like it's a little overextended, even though RSI doesn't tell us that. You see the price is hovering that high above the VWAP. That's usually an indication that the price should correct itself and come back down. So for me here, I would just be patient, wait for a good entry. If the price continues to come up, see how it responds to the 0.0128, 0.0129 level. And if it gets rejected and starts coming back down, then pay attention for a good entry point, because if it comes down and starts, it comes all the way down to just say 1 cent, which is what that's right here, then we'd be in a position where you would want to possibly consider entry, because again, that's a pretty big intersecting point right there. Because again, looking at the 4-hour chart, just to recap, when we look really close, again, we've got these two moving averages. These two moving averages are going to intersect in combination with the 1 cent previous support level. So I'd be very surprised if the price comes down and doesn't bounce off of this. So what we're hoping for, what I'd prefer to wait for, is for the price to reject off of one of these resistance levels, possibly the 200-day moving average, come back down to the 1 cent level, and then consider taking an entry there. based off these factors that I see, if it comes down to the 1 cent level, I would feel confident in adding maybe just say 50% of my position, and then seeing where the price goes from there, and then consider possibly adding to my position as we get closer to the resistance levels, and then just be careful and be mindful of when it hits the resistance level, specifically the 200-day moving average, because this did work as a potential resistance line recently. So that's essentially all I have for you there. Hopefully you did find this beneficial. Comment down below, let us know if this is something that you like. I know Dent is pretty awesome. We got a really big community there, and I firmly believe it's going to be a really awesome, good thing to invest in for the long term. So I think there's a great potential there. So I really don't think there's any bad entry point right now, but I can say that right now to get in at roughly 1 cent would probably be a good indication of a nice entry point. Yeah. So let's go ahead and see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good rest of your day.